Hello, 8th grade authors. All right, good morning, good morning. Okay, so I'm going to be here for about 40 minutes to teach a writing by design lesson, and we'll first start with our objectives. So could you read them with me? Students will understand the purpose of a thesis. Students will write a thesis for their essay. Okay, raise your hand if you're familiar with the word thesis. Oh, good. I like to see a lot of hands. Good, because this should be about the third year you've heard it. So go ahead and talk to your partner. What is a thesis? Tell them what that is.
Thesis is like a topic of like a paper that you're writing.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I heard some good ideas. Anyone want to share? Kimberly?
It's the last sentence of an introduction.
Good. Do you guys agree? Okay, and it actually could be the last 2 sentences. Sometimes you might want to say it in 2 sentences. So it's in the introduction, it's the last part. Nestor?
A thesis usually explains what you're going to talk about, and it's in the last part of your introduction.
Very good. It explains what you're going to talk about. Okay, and it goes a little bit beyond that, and it explains why. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our source books out. We'll get a definition. Okay, so we are going to establish a clear thesis. What 6th trait would that come from? Idea. Wow, quick. Good job. Okay, as you can see up here, establishes a clear thesis is in green, and green corresponds to idea. So turn to your green tab and write the word thesis. It looks like thesis, Thesis. Okay, let's get a definition here. It's a statement or theory that the essay will address. And you can say what Kimberly said. It's in the last part of the introduction. It's usually 1 or 2 sentences. And what I like to think of it as is it's the roadmap for your paper. It tells the reader where you're going, what you're going to say, what you're claiming. So does everyone have a handout here? So go ahead and get this out, the thesis statements. And as you can see, there's a picture of a house up in the upper right-hand corner. The thesis is the foundation. Without a foundation, what would happen to a house? It would collapse, it would crumble, it would come down, right? It would not hold it up. So the thesis holds the rest of your paper up, okay? And here's how to write a thesis. Someone read the first one, number 1. Daniel?
Ask a question about your topic.
Good, ask a question about your topic. So for example, who is Ms. Deichman, your awesome teacher? What is significant about Ms. Deichman? Okay, so on your paper, I want you to ask a question about the person that you are writing your paper about, okay? I'll give you 2 minutes to do that. All right, so you should be writing a question about the person you are writing about. Right here. Okay, I want to share something here from Genesis. Here are her questions. What did Cleopatra contribute to in Egypt? Why is she so important? Okay, anyone else want to share? What did Paul Revere do? Okay. Who is Galileo and what did he do? Good, where's your question? Okay. Okay. Why did Joan of Arc become so important? Good. Who is Pablo Picasso? What makes him an important person? Okay, good. All right, so next, someone read number 2 for us? Who wants to read number 2? Sean, can you read number 2?
Think of some answers to your question.
Okay, so for example, my question was, who is Miss Deichman and what's significant about her? And here are some examples of some answers. She is a great teacher who makes learning fun. She can relate to her students. She is strongly devoted to her students' academic progress. And she has high expectations for her students. Okay, so go ahead and try to answer your question. And put about at least 3 answers to your question. I like how some of you are referring to your notes that you took on your research. Okay, all right, so I answered my question and I kind of put it all in one sentence. So here it is. Does someone want to read that for me? My example, Brayden?
Miss Deichman is an exceptional, devoted teacher because she makes learning fun and helps students achieve high expectations.
Okay, can you see how I combined all of my reasons kind of into one? Okay, and I added some words that are arguable. Okay, so a thesis is somewhat arguable. Okay, so I said she's exceptional, she's devoted, and she makes learning fun. She has high expectations, so it's something that I'm going to have to prove in my paper, okay? So let's look under 4 to check for what is a good thesis, okay? Is it specific, okay? So a bad one would be Sylvia Plath is an amazing poet. She's one of my favorite poets. If I said that that's my thesis statement, what's wrong with it?
It's not arguable.
You can't really argue it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think you could say, yeah, I don't think she's a good poet. You can argue it, but it doesn't really say how or why, right? It's not very specific, okay? So a good would be Sylvia Plath's lifelong battle with depression enabled her to be a powerful writer and advance the genre of confessional poetry. Okay, so that would make a good thesis. It says how and why. It's very specific. Okay, and so my paper would include her battle with depression. Okay. And did you answer how and why? Let's see, we have Eve. You want to read the bad one? Right here.
So, in this paper, I will discuss how Mozart's life made significant contributions to music.
Okay. And as I was reading your papers last night, I did hear some statements like this in your introduction where you're saying I. You're not going to use I in your paper, okay? We're not writing personal narratives. We're writing an essay. And I don't want to hear I. It's kind of like fingernails on a chalkboard. I don't want to hear that, okay? No I's. Okay, but if we took that out, if you said this paper will discuss how Mozart's life made significant contributions to music, it's okay, but it doesn't really say how and why, okay? So to add that, a good one would be Mozart's extraordinary talent and privileged upbringing enabled him to change the world with his music, okay? All right, and the last one, which I think this is also really important because I was seeing this in your papers, avoid just stating a fact, okay? Someone read the bad example. Ricardo, you want to read that one?
Neil
Armstrong.
Armstrong had a great influence on space exploration.
It's a fact, but we can't really argue it, right? So good. Let me see. Can you read the good example, Audrey? Neil Armstrong.
Because of Neil Armstrong's curiosity for celestial structures and his cute engineering skills, he made it possible for the U.S. to become a leader in space exploration.
Okay. Do you see my how and why? What are the how and whys right there? How did he become a leader? There were 2 things. His engineering skills, and what was the other one? Come on.
Curiosity for celestial structures.
Curiosity for celestial structures. Okay, so I want you to write a thesis statement that's not just stating a fact. And I need you to be specific. You're going to answer how and why. Okay, so go ahead and give it a shot, and then we'll have some people share underneath the dot cam. Don't worry if you're not done. You might get some ideas when students come up and share. Do I have a couple brave volunteers? Anyway, Kimberly?
Galileo had gone to the University of Pisa, and because of that, he discovered the phases of Venus and invented the thermoscope, telescope, and the military compass.
Okay. All right. So are you making a claim here about Galileo? It's mostly just facts, right? That he went to the university, he discovered this, he invented this. But what you want to do is make a claim, like, was he a hard worker? Did he have a passion for something that led him to discovery of these things? So you could say something like, Galileo's life was full of determination, which led him to, you could say these things, okay? Something that gives him a quality that you want to bring out about him. So it's a little bit arguable because these are facts, but we want it to have a little bit more of a claim, okay? But you're on the right track. Good job. High five. Good. Anyone else? Want to try? We learn from each other, remember? All right, good. Amanda. Okay, thank you. All right, Amanda, go ahead and read.
Sitting Bull's bravery and stubbornness enabled him to bring justice to his people.
Wow, good job. Okay, Sitting Bull's bravery and stubbornness enabled him to bring justice to his people. High five. You got it all. She's got, the claim is stubbornness, and she's saying that that is the cause, that's why, enabled him to bring justice. Good job. All right. Perfect. That gives me goosebumps. I love that. Okay, here's another one. Cleopatra was a noble and fearless female pharaoh known for her murderous plots that enabled her to be one of the best pharaohs. Woo! That is like 5 stars. Perfect, 100%. So she has some arguable statements here, noble and fearless, and she's also saying why enabled her to become. Excellent, excellent. Okay, here's another one. Caligula was a Roman emperor who had done things such as steal other men's, Wives. Ooh, bankrupt. He went bankrupt. Bankrupt the whole empire and murdered a bunch of people because he was kidnapped by, okay, good. So she is on her way, maybe putting the examples of the bad things that he has done. You can just sum it up with his leadership was corrupted, which was caused by, and then you can say what he was caused by. Like you might say it's maybe his kidnapping had something to do with it. Okay. All right. Anyone else? Good job. Yeah. All these girls. I want to hear some from guys too. Okay. So here, are you guys getting the hang of it? Yeah? Getting it? Okay. Here's this one. When Louis Pasteur was little, his lifelong passion was to become a scientist, which led him to building his Pasteur Institution. Okay, he was little, his lifelong passion was to become a scientist, which led him. Very good. It says why and how, and It's very specific. Excellent job, Alyssa. Good job. Okay. All right, so I want to hear from some guys. Any brave volunteer guys? The girls are showing you up here. Yeah? Adrian, you want to? Okay, come on up. Go ahead and track as you read so we know where you are.
Oh, well, I don't
Right
want to
here.
read.
Oh, you want me to read it?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Here we go. The Wright brothers were the first two guys, so we don't want to use guys, but that's okay. Men, we would say, to invent the first ever heavier than air plane. Okay, the first ever to invent the airplane.
Yeah.
Is that right? Their names were Wilbur and Orville Wright. Because of the devotion and time spent on, it's okay, trying to build an airplane, they finally achieved their goal in December. Good. So this looks like an introduction, okay? Your thesis statement is this last one. Because of their devotion and time spent on trying to build an airplane, they finally achieved. Good. I would say that that works. It says how they got there and it's specific enough. So we might just work on an engaging introduction and we'll do that tomorrow. Okay? But you got your thesis statement. High five.
Yeah.
Good job. All right. Any other guys? Luke, awesome. Come on up. You want to read it or you want me to? All right. Okay, so is this Attila?
Yeah.
Attila the Hun had a vile past. Ooh, there's some judgment. So good. It's a claim. Had a vile past and drove him into his ruthless reign as the scourge of God. Okay, good job. So he's got a why. It's very specific, and you're set. So your paper is going to focus on his ruthlessness, right?
Yes.
And what drove him into that. Awesome. High five. You guys did a great job. I'm really impressed. This is not easy, okay? So now that you have a good thesis statement, you're ready to go to now put your house up, okay? That's your foundation. We'll get your house built. So let's see. Students will understand the purpose of a thesis. Let me see. 3, I get it. 2, I don't know. 1, I have no clue. Can you show me on your hands? What would you say? You know what a thesis is? 2, kind of. 1, I have no clue. Okay, a 3. All right. Someone tell me, what is a thesis? What is a thesis? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It tells the reader what you're going to write about, and it's usually in the last sentence of your introduction.
Okay, and what did we learn today? What other elements does it have? It has to kind of be something that's arguable, right? Okay. It's a claim. You're making a kind of a judgment. So the paper has to have a claim, right? What does it have to have? A claim. A claim. And it's got to tell how or why. Good. How or why. How many wrote their thesis for the essay? How many are done? Can I just see a show of hands? Like, I think I'm there. Yeah. So about 5 of you. So the rest of you, that's your homework, okay? Your homework is to come to school tomorrow and bring your beautifully formed thesis. All right. Well, thanks so much for letting me be with you. You were a fabulous class. I really enjoyed you. You worked hard. And so thank you so much.